Okay, so if you've clicked on this and you're a subscriber or you're someone who watches my videos, this isn't really going to be anything like any of my other videos. Honestly, I don't know where I'm going to post this, but if I do post this on my main channel, then yeah. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this video. I'm probably just going to put some Fortnite gameplay in the background or something. Not really sure how to start off, but I just kind of want to vent, I guess, about some stuff. My feelings, essentially. Again, very unusual video, and I don't know if I'm actually going to post this. But I guess I have a lot of stuff that I just want to talk about. The reason I'm making this into a video is because, I'm gonna be for real, I don't really have that many friends. I'm kind of lonely, nobody talks to me. Looking at my friends list feels like looking at an empty wallet with a fly coming out of it. That said, I do have friends, but I guess less than I used to. Less than I wish I had. And a lot of the ones that I do have just aren't very available often, I suppose. Anyway, I'll touch more on that later. This video isn't really gonna be any particular subject. Just my feelings, really, I suppose. I mean, they are kinda connected in a way, I guess. So I want to start off this video by talking about something that's kind of like the baseline for how I feel about a lot of things. It'll kind of make sense in the future. I'm not really going to go into any personal detail here, but basically, a little while ago I moved out of my house into a small apartment, and I didn't take most of my original stuff with me. I mean, a few things like my PlayStation and stuff. Most of my original furniture and just the layout of my room was left untouched, and since about, I'd say, the end of summer last year, I've been in this small apartment. And undeniably, ever since this has happened, my life has been worse overall. No, I don't want to act all doom and gloom. My life isn't fucking terrible or anything, but undeniably, I feel like overall, regardless of the variables like my mood and stuff, my life is just not as good as it used to be. That's kind of vague, so let me explain it a little bit further. I feel like there's a lot of things I go into it, and I'm not very good at explaining shit, but even though it wasn't really that long ago, I guess a lot of things about my life that I didn't really notice at first are quite different to how they used to be. That said, it's not terrible. Plenty of things are better. I guess, I have more fucking views, I don't really care, to be honest. And this isn't the main point I want to make for this video. Again, I'm gonna just be like talking about a few different things, I guess. By the way, I forgot to mention this. I didn't move out on my own. I don't think I'm legally old enough to do that. I had to move with one of my parents. The fact that I have some of my shit in my original house, you can probably piece together what happened. But today most of my furniture is being removed from my room, and also just the rest of the house. But as I previously mentioned, all the original furniture was still in the room, so even though my current room is like really fucking empty, at least I could kind of, I guess, take comfort in the fact that my original room was always there, untouched. It's kind of like a relic of, prime life, I guess. But today, all the furniture is being removed from it, and as I said, this isn't the main thing I want to talk about from this video. It's definitely the thing that drove me to make it, though. I mean, that's basically like the physical manifestation of all my best memories is basically being taken apart as I speak, and that's pretty upsetting, I'm not gonna lie. Even if my room right now is empty, I really do wish my original room could just be left alone. It's gonna be gone forever today. I mean, it was always nice having the thought that, you know, I could maybe go back, but as I said, this isn't really the main talking point of the video. But this kind of leads on to the next point. It really makes me think about a couple of things. I'm really not sure how to like talk about this, but as I mentioned previously, I just feel like overall my life is worse. Like, it's undeniably gone downhill at least a little bit overall, ever since I moved out. Actually, let me talk about the way my life is now compared to that. I feel way more lonely, for starters. I mean, I've never really known, like, a ton of people, but my social circle just keeps shrinking more and more to the point where now I, like, basically have nobody to talk to. And some of these days where I just feel so fucking lonely, I, like, deadass don't have anybody to talk to, and it drives me insane. And it's like, I don't want to stress out the people who I do actually know, so what am I supposed to do? And also, the place I live now is in the middle of nowhere, and don't get me wrong, it's a really nice area, but I don't live near any of my friends. And I didn't before either, I was still in the countryside then. But the trade-off is like, I actually used to live in a nice house. I'm not gonna lie, the apartment I live in now feels like a fucking jail cell sometimes. Like, sometimes it's just so empty in here and I'm so lonely, I just want to get out, but like, there's nowhere I can feasibly go. And I just feel like so alone and trapped. And I remember at the start of this year, or like, right at the end of 2025, I told myself that 2026, this was gonna be like the best year of my life. And I mean, it still could be, it's pretty early in the year. But now in like prime April, it's spring, it's really nice outside. But now I'm in that period of the year where I feel like I should be having the time of my life, where I would have been in like 2024. And on so many days, I just feel so alone, and I'm just stuck in this apartment. And by the way, this apartment isn't even bad, like I like this place, to be honest, but still. I didn't even notice it at first, but compared to living in like an actual big house, it's a much different feeling. It feels a lot more isolating, if I had to put it. Like, living in this tiny little room really doesn't feel the same way that it did living in like an actual fucking house. Also, other things, like I don't even have pets anymore. They're still at the house. I think I miss my cat. I just feel like there's so much less life here. I feel like that really is the best way to explain it, just life. This place feels lifeless sometimes. And this is a time in my life where I feel like it's important that it shouldn't feel shitty. I'll touch on the whole, my life feels emptier than it should, thing in a second. I swear things used to feel more lively, and I don't think that's just my nostalgia talking. And I swear, man, it's the combination of, like, my other location used to be nicer, and I also used to have more friends. Shit really was better, bro. I took that shit for granted, god damn it. Back then, don't get me wrong, I don't want to act like this was like fucking 30 years ago and it was my prime days. But like, the place I'm at now in my life definitely isn't where I saw myself in like 2 years' time back then. Like, I've always been a very ambitious person and very positive of the future, and I still am. But admittedly, back then, I didn't see myself stuffed up in some apartment, feeling like I was lonely and missing out on my potential. And this really adds to the next thing I want to talk about. I'm getting older. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still very young, and I'm not that much older than I was. I mean, it was only like barely 2 years ago. Still, I guess when you're a teenager, times change pretty fast. And the way that I'm a bit older now, and my life overall just is not nearly as nice as it used to be, some days, man, it just has me thinking, is my life gonna fucking suck? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a very self-confident person, but bad. I have this genuine worry all the time now that I'm getting older, of like, my biggest fear is just I'll be 30 years old and I'll be some fucking goon or chud with no life, instead of like a famous YouTuber or whatever. And seeing as back then I didn't see myself in the position I am now, it kinda has me thinking, like, maybe life isn't gonna be as good as I thought it was gonna be. And I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom, I still have a lot of hope for the future and think things are gonna go well for me. And then these days where I'm in this apartment alone and I just feel so lonely, I wonder if that's what the rest of my life is gonna be like. My biggest fear in life, my number one biggest fear is being wasted potential. And I feel like this feeling has only gotten worse as I've gotten older. That fear I talked about before of being like a fat-ass unemployed 30-year-old gooner. I apologize if I just sound like a broken record and I'm just repeating myself, but what if the rest of my life sucks? The worst part is, I can kind of see it. What if I just didn't quite go down the right path, and I just end up as an unemployed 30-year-old with no bitches? I cannot stress how much this is like my worst fear. And also at this time of feeling like I haven't reached my potential of the year so far, FOMO hits me like a motherfucker. FOMO, aka the fear of missing out, is something that genuinely hits me like a truck every single day. There's already a few things that I've missed out on this year that I feel like would have made it great. Like, I was supposed to go on holiday with my friends, and I also planned on meeting one of my online friends at a convention, which would have been the first time I ever did something like that, so it would have been really cool. But none of that went through, and it just adds to this fear, man. Like, what if I just fumble all my opportunities? What if I become the way I am now, but I'm not young, and instead I'm just a fucking old-ass guy? And I'm getting closer and closer to finding out if that actually is going to be my life. Well, closer than I used to be anyway. That is some of the scariest shit. That said, I am still a very self-confident person, and I do think my life is going to be good, but, you know, the thought kind of hits on some of those sadder days, especially when I have nobody to fucking talk to. And maybe this is me just getting paranoid, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm too old to be making new friends now. That definitely isn't true, but I kind of feel like that sometimes. Like, besides school and stuff, where the fuck would I even find new people? I live next to nothing. And at this point, I don't really feel like meeting new people online anymore. I already feel like I've met, like, the perfect friends for me, but even they suck, so I feel like the chances of me finding actual true friendship, I feel like that opportunity has sailed away a long time ago. I don't think I'm ever really gonna have more friends than I have now. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. But yeah, I don't know what this video was or if it was even coherent, but I guess those are some of my thoughts and feelings. Well, my room's gone now. Thank God I'm alone right now.